Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Jasmine's to Rub the Animal Cell. Fasten your seat belts and let's go.
Let's start with the nucleus. The nucleus has small openings, similar to pores, on its outer membrane. Biological materials move in and out through these pores. They are the communication channel between inside the nucleus and the cellular cytoplasm. The nucleus contains majority of the DNA in the cell. We are now entering inside the nucleus. In the center of the nucleus is where the nucleolus is found. Chains of RNA and DNA form the cell organelle. This is where components of the ribosomes are synthesized and assembled. Also found inside the nucleus is the chromatin. The chromatin consists of DNA and protein, and it condenses to form chromosomes. Moving on to the nuclear envelope. The nuclear envelope is a membrane barrier that separates the nucleus from the cytoplasm in eukaryotic cells. It contains a large number of different proteins. Time to leave the nucleus. Our next organelle is the mitochondria. This is the site of cell respiration. The mitochondria produces ATP, sugars, fats, and other energy sources. The mitochondria is an energy molecule that is used by many other cellular processes. Moving away from the mitochondria, we find ourselves at the rough endoplasmic reticulum, or the rough ER. The rough ER channels proteins to transport vesicles. It is involved with the membrane production, through the production of vesicles, and is attached to ribosomes, also known as bound ribosomes. Bound ribosomes are the site of protein synthesis. It produces protein for use outside the cell, or for the use in the cell membrane. Our next stop, ladies and gentlemen, is the smooth ER. Unlike the rough ER, the smooth ER does not have attached ribosomes. The smooth ER synthesizes lipids including phospholipids and steroids. Moving on to the microtubules. The microtubules are straight, hollow tubes that make up spindle fibers. It is able to form a contractile ring that punches and divides the animal cell in two. Next come the microfilaments. They provide tracks for organelle movement and produces cytoplasmic streaming. We are now traveling to the lysosome. Lysosomes are one of two organelles that are only found in the animal cell. The lysosome digests excess or worn-out organelles and proteins by breaking them down and removing them. The other organelle that is only found in animal cells is the centrioles. Centrioles are paired structures. They consist of microtubules. As we leave the centrioles, we find ourselves at the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus consists of flattened membranous sacs. It receives transport vesicles from the ER. The Golgi apparatus also produces certain molecules, like lysosomes, and secretory vesicle. A transport vesicle carries the ER product to the Golgi, while a secretary carries Golgi-modified products to the cell membrane. Now on to the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is the entire region between the nucleus and the cell membrane, or in other words, all of the light purple surrounding the organelles. On our way out of the cell, we pass the cell membrane. The cell membrane forms the boundary of the cell and acts like a barrier, allowing certain materials in and out of the cell. The core of most cell membranes is a double-layered sheet called the lipid bilayer. It gives the cell membrane a tough, flexible structure. The proteins form channels and pumps that help to move material across the cell membrane. There are two types of transports: passive and active transport. Let's start with the passive transport. The passive transport does not require energy from the cell. There are two types of passive transports: diffusion and osmosis. Molecules can move across the cell membrane through passive transport. Unlike the passive transport, active transport requires energy from the cell. Active transport enables the cell to move a substance against its concentration gradient. As you can see, animal cells only have one layer, the cell membrane, which we just discussed. But plant cells have another layer called the cell wall. The cell walls are made of specialized sugars called cellulose. Cellulose provides protection for a plant cell to survive.